Alright friends, we're back, and I guess you're my friends now. We're friends. Well, I've done a few things here. I've shown this before, and I don't really like showing it. This is a real struggle to put this piece together. So getting these pals into place and holding them and trying to focus and film is something that I did not want to do. So I put our lever on here with our arm and our spring, and then our gear shifting mechanisms. I actually have some new OEM screws that I put in place, the level 10 bosses, and I thought before we finish this up I would go ahead and partially install our cam chain. It's going to make things a pain in the butt, but I just want to get it out of the way. Yep, that's right. And so it's going to be in the way when we flip it over and this and that, but it's just something that I want in there before we get our oil pump gear into place and all that. We will do some more final manipulation of this thing, but I just figured we'd just go ahead and get it out of the way and keep us on a schedule if we can. If I remember correctly, I may have to remove this piece one more time to get it on there. We're gonna see real quick. That's a pain. Yeah, it's not gonna go on there without being removed. Well, at least we're handling that now before we get our clutch basket in there. Okay. It's almost like I knew I was going to have to do that. So we're going to go ahead and just loosen this thing up. Yeah. And that'll be out of the way. We'll slide it off to the side. Making sure to keep track of our washer that sits underneath. And that'll just give us the little bit of wiggle room needed to get our cam chain into place. And we're not going to install the clutch basket just yet. So this is kind of a flip around, go around, and because I don't have the proper holder for the flywheel, so I just use our nickel trick again. So let's see, our washer's there. Again, keeping track of our washer. Gotta slide it over. Sorry about the lighting on this. Sorry about my hand being in the way. There's our washer. Starting our threads. Forgive me, I'm looking to make sure the washer is underneath there. Yep, it's there. And we're also going to install our Kickstart mechanism before we put our clutch basket in. But the next thing that, yeah, looks like I got an email. Why was I thinking magnet? An email notification, since I didn't turn my phone on silent. So that's what you get to deal with. I apologize, folks. You get to hear my notifications. How about that? Okay, so we're going to flip this thing over here in a second. So one of the things I'm going to get out of the way here is our shift shaft. I put it on the other side. I also put our oil seals for the counter shaft sprocket and our shift shaft into place. And when we flip this over, we will secure it into its place as well. Need to get this. There it is. It's seated. So the other thing that we're going to do, we're going to dig into our bag We're going to put our oil pump gear, which is for whatever reason some sort of plastic, which is weird. That bushing goes down. Apparently this side goes down. There it is. That's some sort of material in place. Maybe that goes up. There we go. This versus that. I'm not sure. Let me check the schematic real quick. Fuel pump, headlamp, magneto, muffler, oil pump. So it looks like to me the raised surface goes up. See how it's dimpled up? That's why we have that app. It's really handy. It's the DRZ companion app. Well, that doesn't work. It has to be face down like so, because I cannot get to the snap rings properly. Just making sure this is properly seated. And we may go back to that. I've got some snap rings on the way, and I don't like how loose that one's sitting on there, but it might be okay. It's probably okay. It's okay. All right, we got this part, and I already opened our Kickstart kit, and I want to go ahead and get this in place. This is the idler gear for the Kickstart. It goes right here. It also comes with this bushing that's in another part of the packet for the OEM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and install that. This part faces up, and this bushing here, we're just going to pre-oil it. See, there's an oil groove down in there where oil can get to it. Got some oil on the outside of it. Set that into place. Oil 'em, good 'em. Nice. Now we're going to install our level 10 boss here. And you know, there's always some scrutiny here. Which way does this thing go? Well, I think it goes this way to make room for this, because if it's faced this way, is it going to be in the way? I don't know. Again, let's look at our companion app. Judging by the amount of heat over here, it's probably correctly oriented that way. I'm going to consult that and I'll get back to you. Alright, we consulted it, and I don't know if you can see on my screen, we're looking from the opposite side here, but you can see that kink up here. It's facing, we're looking at it from the underside. So I made that correction. We're in good shape. And I've got some, let's see, where did I put them? I moved them around some where some new OEM screws were. Here they are. And why would I put those back in there instead of the Allen head ones? Well, True Value was out of stock of those, and they just had more of these, but they had them in the standard instead of the metric JIS. And so I just happened to have these on hand for another project, because you know I use what I can at the time, and sometimes we remove some of these and it's good to have them on hand. And I'm going to make them a level 10 boss. I apologize for the heater noise. It's cold in here right now. It is deep into December. And I just put a little bit of red thread lock. It's going to get hot in there. I'm just hand screwing them in there just to get them started. It doesn't take a lot. A lot is too much. These things are countersunk. I'm just going to put the cap back on the thread lock. Might need that later. Okay, here's my screwdriver off to the side. Boop. And it's in tightening mode because I already tightened this one down with some new OEMs. I'm just gonna go a lot of the way down, and I'll come back over to this one and go a lot of the way down. It's touching. I'll go the rest of the way on this one. Okay. Put a little bit of heft to it, and I'm not going to hit this multiple times. We'll give it 2. 1, 2. There's 2. Okay, that's plenty. That's more than enough. It's more than I want to give it. So now we're going to flip over to the other side. Now we've got business to do over here, and you'll see that I got the new seal here, and I put a new O-ring on this piece of the shaft as well. Ooh, better move that away. And so we have to complete our shift shaft install, we need to put our washer on there. And our snap ring. To hold that sucker in place. I'm just double checking that it's seated. And I can see that it's down in the groove, so it's not going to come off of there. Yeah, we're good. Then the next step is going to be installing the flywheel. And real quick, I'm going to step away for a second and make sure that it's got the thread lock on the flywheel pieces that hold it together. And if not, I'm going to go ahead and do the flywheel, the thread lock fixes. Now's the time to do that. Alright, we're back, and our flywheel's in good shape. Those are good quality metal used on those, and I went ahead and put our idler for our starter gear just to kind of get it out of the way. One thing that you've got to do on this is put this piece on before you put the Woodruff key in, because there's no slot for the Woodruff key on here, and there's a needle bearing in here, so I'm going to give it a little glob of good, and just because I can, I'm going to drop a little bit on the shaft, because why not? So put that into place, bing bing boom. And just like I said before, when we were uninstalling, we had our key. I'm going to go ahead and put it into place. The slot's over here, and I'm going to give it a little love tap. It won't take much. But it needs to be flat, so we need to flatten it out. Make sure that's happy. Okay. So before I install the flywheel, I'm going to go ahead and give it a little wipey. Just because. And another bearing surface here. You see how the keyway is in here? Look at that. That stuff that keeps things going. That good old T4. And again, our key slot here. And I might have to approach this a time or two if it's not 100% perfect on the key. We'll find it here. Pull it off here real quick. Alright. Gotta make me look bad, don't ya? I think I just have it just slightly raised in the front here. Now it's slightly raised in the back. There we go. Let's try it again. You know, we're not in a hurry. Well, a lot of you guys criticize me for that, but that's fine. Criticize me away. Oh. And real quick, I'm going to use my little added light here to confirm the key is in place. It's happy. I just get paranoid about that because you hear about these little horror stories, and I want to make sure that that key is in perfect position. You got one chance to get this right. There we go. in place. Next thing we got is our washer here. And our flywheel nut. And let's see, when we go righty-tighty, it's a standard direction. So we got our nickel that I put in place here. And as an unprepared person as I am, just this once, we'll just say, I don't know the torque spec. So you know where I'm going to go? Go to the companion here. And I'm going to look real quick instead of waste your time, and then we'll get back into it. Alright, we're back, and I checked the torque spec, and it's 72.5. So hang in there, little nickel. And I might have to grab this engine a certain kind of way to be able to hold it in place. So you're just along for the ride, my friends. I should have turned my notifications off on my phone. Almost. Come on. It's a lot to hang on to. There it is. Okay. And just double checking that the idler spins freely. We're in good shape. We'll wipe that off. Okay, now we're in good shape on that. We've got this locked down. There is a keeper for this piece, so I'm going to go ahead and install that. That's not the cleanest thing in the world, but that just keeps things from walking out. So we're going to go ahead and put that in place. And these screws were in good shape. And just to make my life difficult, I'm going to put a little bit of thread lock on those as well. I'm out of my new ones. My new looks like it might be out of thread lock as well. There it is. It doesn't take much. This had blue on it. And this is a light red, so come on. Okay. Here's another good one here. I'm going to pick the best. Now that one's the one that I almost stripped out. This is a good one. Yeah. A little splash of that good. Doesn't take much. I'm not trying to prevent it from ever being removed again. If you're a person that has to replace these ever, you're wise to hit them with some heat anyway. Okay. People are blowing up my phone still, which is annoying. sending me endless reels. Oh, sorry about that. Our camera was down a little bit. So we've got our generator in place. I'm pretty excited about that. This build is coming right along. Give it a couple of whacks with the hammer. Okay. There we go. All's good. Now, the other thing I wanted to check here is, does this necessarily need to be in place? And the answer is no. So I'm going to leave that out because I don't want it to come off when I flip this thing over. So we'll come back to that. All right, I'm going to get this thing turned over and then I'll continue with the process.